Hey, what's up guys? Element here, back for another video on compound interest. Now I realized I didn't include anything having to do with the monthly bit the other day, so I'm going to show you how to compound monthly when you're giving an annual percentage, and depending on how I feel, how to compound weekly if you're given a monthly percentage. So let's say that you're given a 10% annual return rate and it compounds monthly over a period of 40 years, okay? Kind of sounds like a bad problem up front, but I'll walk you through it step by step. So first, say it's a 10% annual rate, right? So 10%, just write that number down, okay? 0.1. So you don't actually start from this point, okay? What you do is you take 0.1, you say, okay, if it's compounding monthly, we have to divide this rate by 12. So then you get this number, right? And this number is the actual, interest rate every month. And that's how often it compounds. So what you have to do is you have to add 1, okay? So this is how much by you're multiplying your money every month. Then if it happens over a period of 40 years, well, how many months is that? We ask ourselves. And it is 480 because 40 years times 12 months in a year is 480. So we do x to the y, just like last video, and 480. And this is how much our money would be multiplied by monthly compounding, say times 1,000, at that interest rate of 10% compounding monthly over 40 years. Now, what we can do is we can compare that to if it just compounded yearly. So we could say, okay, 1.1, this is last video stuff, x to the y 40 equals times 1,000. Right? So that's like an $8,000 or $9,000 difference if you look at it, which just goes to show that the more it compounds, even if the percentage yield is the same, if it compounds more often, you're going to make more money, right? So then let's say that you were told, okay, we have an annual compounding rate of 1%, excuse me, not annual, a 1% monthly compounding rate, and it compounds every week. And you need to figure out how often does it compound, or how much do you make in a year, right? So we'll say, okay, if it was 1%, it was 1.01, okay? So then we start with 0.01, and we say, okay, how many weeks in a month? Divide by, we'll just say 4. Okay, so this is how much it compounds every week, plus 1, okay? And then how many weeks in a year? We'll say it's 48, just for this purposes. You'd actually make more than this, but so then x to the y, 48, equals this number times your principal, which we'll say is 1,000, and you make 1127.32 cents. Okay, once again, we can compare that to if it had just compounded monthly opposed to weekly at that same monthly return rate. So 1.01 x to the y, okay, how many months in a year? 12, equals times 1,000. And you make slightly less money, and that's even leaving off the fact that there's 4 extra weeks that it didn't have to compound, that we didn't account for in that equation, because who wants to do the math on exactly how many weeks are in a month, right? So yeah, there you have it. You can basically make any conversion if you're given a rate per time, which would be per year, or per month, or per week, and you're given the period of time over which it compounds. So you could be given a 1% per week and do the daily compounding and still figure out any combination of those two, how much money you would have at the end of a period of time. If you didn't fully understand it, just go back and watch the video a little bit, and eventually it'll start to click. And it's really nice that you can just pull out your phone calculator and do it on that. It's really not that difficult of a process once you've gotten some practice with it. So with that, I hope you found this helpful. If you haven't already checked out the other compound interest video, I'd really encourage you to do that because it's a better place to start than this one. A much simpler problem that is actually much more applicable to real life, at least in my opinion. With that though, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to check out some of the other content the channel has, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.